Good afternoon, everyone. Barbara Derrick. Day 17. 2 tips for creative design. I was thinking about a theme, and the last minute, I went, oh, yeah, look at what I'm drinking from. Yeah, it might as well be half a coffee pot. I love this cup not for the fact that it's Blue Man, but it is blue. I also love the fact that my oldest daughter and her husband gave it to me when I was in Las Vegas with my youngest daughter too. Oh, there's a story and a half there, but I won't get into it. And I was thinking about the law of design and how it applies to this cup. Yeah, I'm back and forth, but the law of design is really important. It's not just for leadership, as in the business world. When we hear about leadership, we think, oh, it's about the business world. No, it's not. No. So here's something, a little tidbit about Blue Man. How many of you have gone to see the Blue Men in Las Vegas? Now, when I first went, and my daughter took me, my senses were overwhelmed, and I want to say that you're in a big, it looks like a stadium, but it's a theater. And the lights are going, but they have these sculptures and like these, a lot of what they do is patented. It's copyrighted. And they keep it very secretive. And so that their shows may be consistent, but they switch up something. And what I saw was a rolling screen as they got going. And then there were it looked like, yes, tissue paper just strung from the ceiling down. And at some point there was music, and they took you through this sensory experience that just wowed my socks off. And it continued with an act with the 3 men, and they're making music, and then there are buckets of paint. I believe there was paint. It's been a while now. I think that this was probably 2008. I can't remember now. I'll have to look it up. It's been a long time since I saw them in concert. It was difficult to you cannot just walk into the Blue Man. You have to pay for the tickets, and then you get at the door you go in. It's not even like a theater. It is like, your red carpet type of entrance. Which brought me to the law of design. When it comes to their business and the creative aspect, it's more than creativity. It's also artistic. There was music, there was color, there was interaction. And I would want to call that transformational sensory education. Because the thing that I remembered about it the most were their props. And it left me thinking about their blue face, and they have like their paint on the cup. So the Blue Men were very, very innovative artists. And creative designing is, I'm just taking up my notes here because I wanted to be right on target instead of wandering all over, but creative designing is leadership. We lead ourselves first. And as artists and creative people, creative minds, we do this all the time. And the 2 tips that I come to you today are very important, because I didn't realize I get an awareness of how creativity manifests in business building. Gee, say that 3 times real fast. Manifests. So this is what I want to come to you with, this thought about creative design. And then I want to go back to what we did yesterday in terms of printing. And then I'll wrap it up real quick. All right. So the first step in creative design is reflection. Okay? Yesterday I was telling you about the experiences I had opening a bucket of polyfill or drywall polymer. And I also told you that I couldn't find my my tools, and so I had a plan. It was on the run plan. And when I reflect, I think to myself, that's not a really good way to do a presentation, is to grab some tools or look for some tools at the last minute and for some tools at a last minute and then put it together. However, I've done it for a little bit, and it also demonstrated the what we would call failure or forgetful. No. We need to deconstruct how we think about failure. And as a leader in our own business, reflection is key. As an educator, we use a lesson plan, and some of us use a rubric. And a rubric is specifically an assessment. And the assessments have changed since I was in school, from A+ to B+. Well, how do you grade that? And why is my work, like in math, it's clear. The formula 2 + 2 = 4 is obvious. And when that answer is correct, then it's visible. However, in the creative sense, when we come together and someone is marking our creative work or making a critique of our creative work, we want to know what they're critiquing. When someone says, oh yeah, you could use a little bit more work here or there, or you need to boldly outline and this kind of thing, it depends on who is doing that assessment. So my reflection is to take people who are entrepreneurial but very skilled in the artistic or creative sense, who have some meat, or how do they say, the skin in the game. Because if you're asking someone who's never been there before, why are we getting them to critique? And you've heard me talk about that reflection before. So reflection, solving a problem. First, before I start any creative process, like yesterday, I imagined I had the materials. I didn't have access, so I had plan B, plan C, plan D. What about the last time I created something? As you could see, I had a lino mat that I had already cut and I had showed you on a demonstration which we're going to look at today. That was actually what saved me, because of A, B, C didn't work. I came to look in the cupboard and went, aha, D. Because upon reflecting, I realized that templates are important in the work that I do, especially when I'm instructing, to have something that I'm not spending another 2-3 hours developing. So that's reflecting, and it works for me. Next is design. Planning out your design. And of course, yesterday I showed you this design that I planned out on sponge paper. And I'm thinking to myself, this is great stuff. It'll print really good because it's sponge. And meep, no. I spent a couple of hours doing this, and what I learned from that is next time I make a smaller design and sample with that first before I decide on making it a printing plate. However, then it brought me back to what I am comfortable with, which is the lino design. So the design which I'm going to show you today is on the canvas. I finished it, and I think I have it in the tub still because I cleaned it up, but I will show you what I did. And again, as a demonstration, I enjoyed the process. So creativity is a process. It's a two-step process. The second process, the last one, was applying the, have the plan, and then I guess the third step would have been application, right? That's what I'm going to show you today. As I wrap up my thought, reflective evaluation. Always think about what's next. And the errors, deconstruct failure. There's no such thing as failure, not unless we accept it on that merit. However, if we take the mistakes and learn from them, creative process, we grow from them. And that is what leadership is about, is taking those things that we, and proudly saying, yeah, I made 15 mistakes on that mural, because there's 15 different ways to share with somebody what the most important parts of those mistakes were and what not to do. My wrap up today is use that mistake or error to pivot forward. All right, so I'm going to show you a canvas, and then I'll show you how I like what to do with the rest of it on my demo. So I took a painting I really didn't like. It was really pinky. I love pink. I needed pink. And I did this. Now remember, I used a cut lino for this. Well, I created another with this design. And this time I only did half the design. And so I got the polyfill is what I used into the first part, and then I flipped it, and then I ran back twice. I did this, washed the lino, and I thought, what am I doing? I could just move it around and make less of a mess. And if you know lino, when you're filling it on the top to create this design, the paste will stay on the top for a bit. So I was able to do 3 of these designs before I had to wash it again, which means that 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, the last one I had to go and wash it again, okay? Wash the lino. Okay, so now I want to take you down to my iPhone. Yesterday I laid this and we created a texture, or a raised, like a embossing. This I had mentioned was this is really good on drywall or creating your own interior art. A lot of the stuff that we do as creative people or artists is done from that, right? Just from the experience of interior design. Now, you want to, and I'm going to show you how to paint it. It's a little different. When you add a little bit of water to the paint, and when you do this, you can wipe it off. And why you would do that is it creates a little a different effect. It looks almost like brand new old world. And as I get better at this, and I'm also aspiring to develop the skill that you can see that I'm taking off excess. And it's really really works better like in the dry brush mode. I also have a sponge, and this is your mixed media effect. So I'm just going to go around like that and take off what I don't want. Okay. And what this does is, as you notice, the plaster is a little bumpy. This will get all of those fissures that, and you could do layers of this, right? Layers of different colored paint, putting your light colored down first. Okay? So that's my demo, and as you look like this, let's pretend we, I don't know, we can put maybe a baby blue or something on the crevices. Let's try that. Oops, we got a darker blue. You need lots of mop up here. And you notice blue and gold, depending on your blue, will make a, now it's, what I'm going to do is it's really watery, and I'm making it watery for a reason. Is that I'm going to go like this, I'm going to lift it. And like that. You're going to get, and it's very light, you can do layers. You're going to get like a turquoise, and I want it around the seams, like the edges. So that's why I'm patting it and making sure it's wet, because I don't want the whole thing to. And you see the effect. Okay, it'll take a bit of work. This is something that takes time, and while you're doing this, you can reflect and do your design one step. Do a piece like I started here, so I'll go over here when I'm done, and then I'll go over here when I'm done. So if you have a huge canvas, it'll take you some time, but enjoy it with music. And I hope you like the demonstration, thinking about leadership, design, creative design, and the steps that it'll take to create something in layers like this. If you've liked this show or this demonstration and what I had to talk about, I'd appreciate a like and share, some love, so that others can experience and look through this. Right now, it's really a great time to share a creative process with someone, just as a distraction. Some of us, this is our full-time job, but for those of us, we can share it. All right, I really appreciate you. Love you all. If I've missed anything, like I said, drop your comments down below and like and share so that I can get out to more eyes. Have a wonderful day. Have maybe a blue day, a blue fantastic day. Bye-bye for now.